Dear all, I welcome you all on behalf of Atal Innovation Mission to this session on Indo German startup ecosystem and innovation in cross country innovation. The session today will revolve around how Indian startups can leverage the German ecosystem. What are the promising areas to build a program between these countries? Hopefully, the session will also throw some light on a few specific programs and support provided by Indo German Network for Startups. We have Mr. Ramanan, Mission Director, Atal Innovation Mission. Here, sir, can I request you to please introduce our speakers?
Yeah. So good afternoon, everybody, and thank you so much for joining on this webinar session again. As all of you are aware, the webinar session is meant to be able to create opportunities for a dialogue and reflection. And it gives us an opportunity to also see how all the startups in our ecosystem can benefit through collaborations, not only with the private sector, but also cross-border and across countries. Because after all, every startup which has a great solution for India has the potential of offering that solution in the global marketplace. And this is something that we want to continuously enable and energize all our startups in being able to do so. So once again, all the AIC CEOs as well as the startups who have logged on today for this call, a very good evening to you. And I hope all of you are also healthy and hearty in spite of these difficult COVID-19 circumstances. And I do hope that everyone is taking the necessary safeguards to protect themselves against this pandemic virus, following the advocacy of the authorities, the health authorities, and the government institutions, or the institutions you are part of. Over the last several years, the Atal Innovation Mission has been making very steady progress in being able to initiate a number of innovation-related initiatives to build and energize and create an ecosystem of innovation and entrepreneurship across the country. And to the speakers who have were there, both Sanjay as well as Ashutosh, just to give you a background, Atal Innovation Mission has been working across schools, universities, institutions, industry, and with in partnership with private sector, NGOs, as well as states, to create this ecosystem where innovators can thrive and we provide a vibrant ecosystem for their growth and their fulfillment. And so at the school level, we have launched thousands of tinkering labs, which are enabling young students acquire a problem-solving mindset. At the university level and at the institutional level and at the industry level, we have launched hundreds of incubators, which is fostering thousands of startups. And today we have more than 1,500 startups in the ecosystem of Atal Innovation Mission, and close to about 500 of them are women-led startups. We are also setting up Atal Community Innovation Centers to be able to help rural India and in tier 2, tier 3 cities, so that innovation is sponsored, is benefiting these people and is able to improve the lives of millions of Indians who are out there in the non-tier 1 cities. And we launched a number of challenges called Atal New India Challenges. And recently we have launched Arise Challenges, which is applied research and innovation for small enterprises, so that the startup industry can respond to these challenges. These challenges are of a socio-economic nature. We need a combination of social innovation as well as economically driven innovations that will bring socio-economic progress for our country. And in this, we also launched recently, as I mentioned, Arise Challenges. There are 15 challenges with 5 ministries that we have launched. And I would also request and take this opportunity to all the incubators. I had sent a message to all of you, but of course, since we are also meeting on this digital platform, I'd like to once again reiterate that you should see how we can engage in outreach events to be able to draw in some of the finest innovations from the startup and MSME industry, because this Arise Challenges are focused towards early stage innovations, which can result in minimum viable products, which are field deployable. And this is for this, a grant of 50 lakhs is being given to the winner over 3 phases or over 3 tranches. Please remember that the innovations have to be new out in the marketplace, that it has not been launched yet. We are looking at new innovations, not for innovations which are already out there and which are already developed. So this is so that we are spawning more and more new innovations in the areas for meeting the challenges that we have. Now, coming to both Sanjay and Ashutosh, who are going to be the main speakers in today's event, Ashutosh Baheti is an entrepreneur and he is a technologist working in different areas, ranging from high-tech development to startup consulting. He is the CEO of Genysys Solutions, which is based in India and Germany, doing high-tech development in defense, industrial, and aerospace areas. He's also the technology partner in Longhouse Partners Gmbh, Germany, a venture capital firm which invests and develops business across India and Germany, and is a vice chairman of Indian Entrepreneurs Forum in Germany to support and develop the ecosystem of entrepreneurs and support them set up businesses. Mr. Sanjay Tambe is a passionate serial entrepreneur with decades of cross-border and restructuring expertise for Indo German ventures. He is a postgraduate in business informatics and internal finance from Munich University and has a versatile exposure to innovative startups and himself invests in food tech, med tech, healthcare, hospitality, e-commerce, SMEs, and in India, America, and Europe. They will be talking about the Indo-German startup ecosystem and how one can have innovation, collaboration, and cross-country innovation. Now, before they start, I do want to share that Germany has been an outstanding example of innovation for small enterprises. In fact, that Mittelstand as well as Fraunhofer have been involved in setting up institutions all across the country to encourage applied research and development. And there are so many examples of uh, German companies acquiring majority portion of the market in specific areas. Small companies, they are $100 million companies or maybe up to $1 billion of revenue, but they are very focused and they bring tremendous amount of precision engineering. They bring a mastery over the fundamentals when they attack a particular market or a segment of the market. And that is something that is we all have to learn in India, the way family businesses have grown and the way the small and medium businesses and the startups dominate the landscape. From whatever little I know, more than 60% of the revenue of German economy comes from these small enterprises. So that is something that is what is needed also in our country. So during the time that I have been with TCS and with CMC, I've had the opportunity of working with many German firms, including TRW and ZF and so on and so forth, Bosch and so on. And these companies, it is amazing to see when you actually visit them and the advancement in technology, but at the same time, the sharp focus on quality and making sure that anything that they do is of great engineering quality. This is something that Germany is famous for. Precision engineering is something that they are very famous for, and their ability to be very, very focused in what areas they want to focus on. That is something, again, that I have seen as a hallmark of German production facilities and German engineering. So I'm sure you're going to hear more about it from people who have both of these gentlemen have spent a lot of time in the German ecosystem. So we'd be looking forward to hearing from them. What are some of the things that we can learn from the German innovation ecosystem? What are the collaborations that we can enable and they could particularly enable, or the Indo-German Chamber of Commerce can enable us, so that the startups from India and the incubators of India and all the other innovation initiatives that we are having at Atal Innovation Mission can leverage Indo-German collaboration. So with that, I turn it over to Malika once again to conduct the rest of the proceedings.
Thank you, sir. Welcome, Mr. Baheti and Mr. Tambe. Before I hand over to you for the presentation, I humbly request all our audience at WebEx to keep themselves muted during the presentation. We shall take the questions at the end of the session. Please feel free to write your questions and discussion points on the chat. We also have audience group, and hence I request all of them to please share their questions on the chat itself, and we'll address all of them at the end of the session. Thank you. Sir, over to you now. Mr. Sanjay.
Yes, namaste and welcome all of you. I'm very happy, Ramnan sir. I'm very pleased that you could open this session. I was not expecting that. Thank you very much. Could see you and have your speech firsthand. Thankful for that. And giving us an opportunity to present ourselves and present this concept of, like you already said, the German innovation, to kind of learn from them, and also to use it for India, to use it for Make in India programs, or to use it for us Indians who are living in countries like Germany or Europe. I must say right at the outset that it is very nice to have a collaboration between India and Germany, because the more you get to know the industry and the type of working style of German Mittelstand, meaning the SME sector, you come to know that they have a very similar business culture to India. So you feel right away at home, and in fact, that is the answer given mainly by Germans also when they are being asked that how do you feel working with Chinese and the Indians, and they always say that Indians are more welcome because we feel right away connected. The culture fits in, and we feel really comfortable working with Indians. This is what we hear from Germans, and I can confirm the same thing. So we want to share here today a couple of ideas how we are trying to build a network here, especially for startups and companies who want to grow in not only in India but also worldwide. And we have set up a small organization, non-profit organization, a few years back, which was relaunched last year through a roundtable. It is called Indian Entrepreneurship Forum, with the kind help of Indian Embassy here. Maybe Ashutosh can tell more about the IEF. I would tell you more about the Longhouse Partners as a company, which is also a 11-year-old company. We have a small a unit in India which is doing market mapping and human resource recruitment, as well as coaching. So this is a kind of entity in India also called Longhouse India, which is helping us in getting support to understand the Indian market for our German partners. The venture capital arm of Longhouse actually does very much focused cross-country business. That means that we specifically search for startups who have unique ideas, innovative ideas on the market, and they want to kind of grow into India, but not India as a focus, but bring their product to an international level. And again, I should repeat that it's a similar thing which is happening here as in India, that is rapidly growing. The startup environment is very nice here, very welcome also for Indians. So you will find a lot of German different activities being offered to international startups coming from countries like India, so that they can learn and also get funding for different ideas which can be called innovative, because everything which can be kind of developed in India and implemented in Germany or the other way around becomes automatically a unique innovation. We might call it Jugaad, but it is actually a very advanced Jugaad which happens here, which helps all businesses in maximizing their profitability as well as optimizing their products. So the Longhouse Consulting GmbH helps basically startups to in the seed phase, so that we can grow the idea in such a way that it comes out of its baby steps and is able to establish a product range which can be used globally in a way that you can feel comfortable going to a country like India. And also it needs a lot of expansion capacity, so we help them with different funding arms of Longhouse in India. We are partnered with another company from India called JR Ladda. They are also into innovation startups there. They are based out of Calcutta, Mumbai, Hyderabad, Bangalore, and supporting us in finding the right partners there if joint ventures are required. Um, uh, Maybe I'll hand over quickly to Ashutosh so that he introduces the IEF thing, the IEF chapter. I'm electronics engineer as Ashutosh. I've done a post graduation here in finance, and business informatics, and that helps me understand the language basically and the culture. So mostly I have studied here many years back, where the study here or the degree was only in German. You could not study that time in English. Nowadays, I think since a few years, it is available in English. So many people who come here and want to study, do a post graduation, I always recommend them to do it in German, because once you know the language well, you can actually connect much faster. Ashutosh, over to you for a second.
Yeah, thank you so much, Sanjay, and thank you so much, Ramanan sir, for such a nice introduction and warm welcome. Thank you, Malika, and everyone for setting this up. So I will directly jump on to presentation. I hope my presentation is visible, right? Malika, can you please confirm once?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. So yeah, we are going to talk about talk a bit about Indo German startup ecosystem and innovation in cross country business. So the agenda goes like this. I will give a little bit of IEF introduction, then I will hand over back to Sanjay for taking up on Longhouse partners, and then we will dive a bit into how we have channelized the support and organization between IEF and Longhouse partners. And then we will discuss some use cases, what we have done so far and what we have handled so far. And then we will conclude with basically how we can support your business interests. So this is how the flow of the presentation is going to be. So let me talk a bit about what exactly IEF is. So IEF is Indian Entrepreneurs Forum. As Sanjay said, that this organization was started 11 years back, and now we have rebranded it in terms of Indian Entrepreneurs Forum in order to relaunch a platform. So I can give you a little bit of story about it, and the story and the background is that when I was trying to start something here, I actually reached out to Sanjay and asked a lot of guidance on not only just on how to set up a real business here, but also what are the legal terms which you need to take care of, what are the finances, how you have to handle the finances, and not only just this, but also how you have to handle the formation and going not only just going from the formation, but also understand that the basic business ethics which which the German community which you have to take care in the German community as well. So that's why since I was facing a lot of problems, and Sanjay helped me quite a lot in order to set those things up, then we came to an idea that why let's rebrand this, so that not only us, but like there are a lot of Indians and a lot of Indians who really want to do something. There are also a lot of housewives here who really want to do something with respect to some domestic businesses, so they can really get benefit from such kind of an organization which is not only just dealing with giving you a flavor of I mean, starting from the scratch to going really into a business, business models, and outcome of the business models could be, let's say, you get some fundings also here, and as well as you get some customers on board. So this was the basic idea which we started with, and we thought that matchmaking is actually one of a very important aspect of setting up this organization, because you can connect with right people, and with connecting the right people, right resources, you can actually channelize the entire business into a very effective manner. So that was the basic idea behind setting up a IEF. And when we talk about IEF is basically let's say it's not only just helping the Indian community, but it's also vice versa. We are also helping the German community and as well as the German startups, and trying to help them in order to understand how they can really do a cross-country business. So how they can really go in India and they can understand a little bit on the Indian culture. They can understand how you have to modify the technology in order to get it adapted to the Indian culture itself, or get it modified in such a way that the adaptability of these kind of technologies is very high when you really want to land these technologies in India. So we are helping a lot of young blood here, even the students who get their educations in Germany and really want to do something on their own. So we have a lot of people who are coming to us and saying, okay, and asking a lot of different questions, ranging from setting up things to really channelizing and then really start selling something out of it. So of course, due to the language barrier also, there are also a lot of the things which are not very straightforward. There are also Germany is being a very very disciplined country, so you have to follow the norms and regulations also very strictly. So these kind of things we help, let's say, in IEF, and we help the new talents in order to we provide them a breeding grounds in order to understand what they can really do, and we provide them a diaspora of opportunities, scaling them into, let's say, some incubator opportunities here, some government facilities which are already being in place, and as well as not only just this, but also there are a lot of government funded incubation setups here which we help them, we connect them, and we have a network of MNCs as well, where they can get themselves a lot of traction and on their technology, technologies, and they can try to pitch on those MNC platforms. So this was the basic idea. The mission and vision is very, very simple. We have a mission to bring young blood and the business enthusiast to understand from setting up things from the scratch to going into a full-fledged business models. That's the basic idea. So yeah, not taking much time, I will hand over it to Sanjay so that he can give you a more introduction about Longest Partners and take it forward from here. Thank you.
Thanks, Ashutosh. I already mentioned a few things about Longhouse, so I don't want to go too much into talking about Longhouse. I would rather talk about how the collaboration works between such a company like Longhouse and a non-profit organization like IEF, and I would say institutional organizations which are available here. So yeah, this is the perfect slide for that. Uh, what happens is, if you are kind of a startup which can avail for a local support from the local organizations like CII, which has a kind of mirror organization here called IHK, they usually give you quite a lot of support in terms of documentation required, procedures required, and they will give you experts in that area who can actually tell you what are the norms, regulations, and what kind of funding you need, what are the regulations required as pertain to, I would say, documentary evidence as well as making a business plan. That is one thing. The second thing is, how do you get your hands onto proper businessmen who have already done something like this, who know how to build up organization and are also welcoming new startups in bringing up innovations in different sectors which are happening fast and changing rapidly. So we see our role with IEF in bringing up such entrepreneurs on table. It can be called a round table, which is cross, I would say, across all industry sectors. So we would bring such different entrepreneurs who have made it successful already, may it be Indians or Germans. We bring them on one table and try to offer them every month a kind of overview of different startups. So help allow the startups to pitch themselves every month to cross connect with these entrepreneurs who have already made successful. Now this is a direct connect to these who themselves are also interested in not only sharing their knowledge but also interested in investing in such startups. So this is one thing which IF offers as a round table. Around that, we have organized or planned also different events which go across different sectors. Like we are focusing a month, we will focus on medtech, medical technologies, which are right now very, very current due to COVID times. Right away, right from making simple masks available for the COVID regulation, up to diagnostics examples of companies who have built products here with an electronic combination, which can be absolutely perfectly used in India as a marketing tool, as well as manufacturing there. So we use different industry verticals and offer the roundtables around these verticals. In a way, Longhouse supports or sponsors such events because such events enable some cost which is required here in setting up such a roundtable, which is at a very high level. It is not a completely public event. It is offered to members and to interested parties who really have startups. So through this, we make sure that not only consultants and lawyers come to the event, but properly real startups which are pre-scanned by us come there, because otherwise what happens is you keep on meeting different consultants at every different event here, and we want to avoid that. We want to have actually a jump for the startup so that they can quickly get connected to the right people instead of wasting their time attending hundreds of events and then coming to know what structure they should approach. So Longhouse offers this kind of support and partnership where such events are sponsored in enabling that roundtable to happen, and also to invite these high level people to come in both ways, as well as in Germany as well as towards India. And the product is not limited. So from our past experience, you already know which verticals or industry sectors are growing in India. Many people are talking about edtech, educational technology, as well as medical technology, like I said. And the third sector, which is being discussed about, is food technology, which is rapidly growing here. And the funniest part is that the local governments here in Germany are offering n number of nice programs, I would say, for startups, which are incubation programs, proper funding plans, and events. So we connect our members or IEF people directly with such partners who are offering this kind of plans, and offer them also to attend such events, and they can actually get hold of the funding. Can you go to the next slide, Ashutosh?
Yeah.
So what I would do is, here I have mentioned a few examples, which you can see at the moment, which we are collaborating with. So the governmental organizations which we have already collaborated in the past is IHK, which I mentioned. This is like a reflectory organization of CII in Germany. They already have a chapter in Berlin, which is represented by a person who is sitting there and offering Indian entities support here. And the consulate, of course, offers us numerous help factors in offering space, for example, for arranging such events. We are starting a kind of leader talk with them on a regular basis. Every second week we will be talking to different leaders from different sectors, and want to hear out from them a very compact 30-minute session to hear out from them what their experience has been in working with Indian industries as well as with Indians, and in general their success stories. The MNCs at whom we are talking to and are getting also support from, here a few example: Siemens, Infineon, Huawei, who are offering different technology platforms to give us also entree into using the laboratories and kind of environment required for developing such products. The venture capital partners I already mentioned. One is JRL, which is JR Ladda from Calcutta, who have a big office in Mumbai, Hyderabad, and Bangalore. And Michael Cott, CM Equity. This is a local entity from Munich. These are just a few examples. We have not mentioned all the list. We can share it if required at any point in time, which makes sense. We can always share it. The startups which are supporting just now at this point, there are also n number of startups. I cannot mention all the names here because I heard that this presentation might be on YouTube, and I have not got NDA from every company to allow me to announce their name. That's why these three names are mentioned here. So Flottelladen is a startup from Constance area. They have electromobility. They are into electromobility and electro charging, so for electric vehicles. Mr. Lu is a very unique startup who is offering, I mean, Bharat Swachh Abhiyan is fantastic opportunity for them, but they are offering on the basis of artificial intelligence, something in healthcare, where hospitals and different bigger organizations can use this technology for diagnostics purpose, as well as, of course, the sanitary use. And Pax Foods, which is a unique technology developed here for dehydration. It was previously developed for NASA at a very low cost manufacturing of fruits and different vegetables, so that they can sustain for more than 5 years. They would not lose their taste, aroma, color, and the ingredients like minerals, proteins, etc. This is a fantastic technology which we thought that we can take it to India and Africa, where actually the fruits come from. So the logistics factor becomes eliminated, so that you don't have to carry the water filled fruits to Germany, process them and send them back, or sell them globally. But we want to install this technology in places like India, where the farmers can directly use it as a high technology to avoid the wastage of fruits, which may be thrown away because of non-availability of market, or the logistics part where the fruit has to be otherwise transported to another country and it can get spoiled on the way. So next slide, please. These were the couple of examples which I mentioned, which we are right now working with taking to India. From the other side, we have got these three companies who have approached us, where they want to establish themselves in Germany or Europe. Citizen might be known for some people. It's a identification technology from Hyderabad. To Do Buddy is from Bangalore. They have developed an educational app where parents can actually use that app to teach their children mathematics, physics, and chemistry. So mainly science subjects, and also allow them to test. So give like there would be tests for before you appear before the exams. You can take trial tests, etc., and get also learnings from the app. And Dangal Games is also a very unique games company from Bangalore, which we are trying to support in getting a market mapping here, and also allowing them to collaborate with a German company to enter the media sector here. Next one, please. I don't know how much time we have, but what through these two examples here, I would say it will be good that I can actually cover up the examples which we have. Into sanitary and healthcare. These are two sectors. Again, with the use of artificial intelligence, we feel that India is a unique market for this kind of technology companies from here. So we are working with such a company who is into this sector, where the innovation is done, of course, in Switzerland, the technology innovation, but it has to be localized in India. And again, the part of innovation which comes there is the localization which happens in India for marketing that product in India. StudySense is a company which is actually a plaster which they have developed, like a handy plast, which has electronics inside to conceive a child, and it gives a precision result. So 90 to 95% precision result is given when the conceiving is very fast, and that is a unique product which is there. We have helped them do the market mapping until now, and they are looking for a joint venture in India as well as expansion in India. As I always said, whenever these companies want to enter Indian market, they have to do quite a lot of market mapping in terms of market size, but also in terms of where they can do R&D for the localization of that product, as well as for adapting it to the Indian needs. The last one which I would like to mention is Q Sports, which is a textile T-shirt which measures all your health conditions, like what your Apple Watch would do. It is also very unique textile product which is done by this company. It's an Austrian startup into health technology, and fantastic for not only sportsmen but also for many at the age group above 60. It is very useful because it will measure your pulse rate and your heartbeat, etc., and convey through app if it can be a medical situation. So I would just like to finish the at least the examples which are given here. There are a couple of more, but if you want, we can share the presentation with you. Also, unique products in food technology sector, as I mentioned before, and electro mobility and charging, which we are doing. So I would like to have some questions on this if you are interested and want to know. How much time do we have, Malika ji?
So we have another 10-15 minutes for the
10,
presentation.
15 minutes. Okay. Okay, fine. So Ashutosh, would you like to talk about this slide first before we go to the questions?
Yeah, I think so. Basically, the main agenda for this meeting is to understand that how you guys can really, how we can help each other in the ecosystem. So basically, the idea is that you guys can connect with us. You can, I mean, you can reach out on info@indogerman.net, or you can also write emails directly to us, and you can provide us basically one-pager document to know basically how we can support you, how we can help you out. If those comes under IEF, then we will directly help you out in the best way possible. And as well as if you think you want some more help, or something else is needed from us, or you want perfect connects from us, where it is like 100% channelization which can be done, then you can also reach us, and we will try to connect you with the right entities, so we can help you in understanding how your technologies can be a good fit for different MNCs, how which type of MNCs which we can connect you with, and as well as what type of technologies, if you want to procure something in your startups from Germany, this is something also we can help with. And as well as not only just this, but in if you want to have your one base here, or want to channelize your businesses here, then please feel free to reach to us, and understand how we can be of some help for you guys. Yeah, this is more or less from my side. So Sanjay, if you want to add something to it. Sanjay, you are muted.
I'm sorry. It is like an open platform. So we actually want to promote this kind of entrepreneurship where we know that even if you come to a country like Germany and take up a job with a MNC, how popular it may be and innovative it may be, you always have that Indian desi mind, which you are always there as a businessman. You want to do something of your own, and that starts after a few years, which I have experienced with many Indians who come here, that they would like to do something, but of course you want to do it successfully. You just not just to try something. And we see as a catalytic agent in this step that before you take that step, or once you take that step, how we can support you in actually showing you a growth path of your ideas, as well as how to access different kind of support platforms, funding platforms which are available locally, because you need to be locally connected very well, as well as you need to understand the German language to be able to understand all these models which are available here. Even if the startup area in general is growing rapidly, there are quite a few things which German companies are looking out at, and we can connect you to these kind of companies as well as entities. So feel free and open to contact us anytime if you need any kind of question support. We are there from IEF, and of course in collaboration with Atal Innovation Mission, which we are very fond of. I mean, in general, all the programs which I have seen until now in the last 5 6 years, starting from the industry fair which happened in Hanover, it is a fantastic experience to see how Indians are getting a red carpet laid out in Germany. It was completely different story a few years back. I'm here now more than 20 years, so I can tell you a little more. But it has completely changed. The image which the Indians have in Germany is very, very positive for us, and the environment which is, and the energy level which is being offered to us by the local German companies as well as all the entities is fantastic. So make use of that. And I can tell you that all these facilities and the paths are being opened, the doors are being opened for Indians. So please make use of it. The corona has also led to another additional factor where people are looking at China in a completely different view. So that is again helping us. So actually, everything is a very positive environment which is growing for innovation for us as Indians. Which can be anywhere in Germany or anywhere globally. We can actually grow very nicely, very healthily, I would say. So yes, thank you for this quick opportunity to offer the presentation. I would if you allow, open the question answer session, if it is okay.
Absolutely, sir. Thank you so much, sir. This was a very informative presentation. Thank you. We do have a few questions from the audience here. I'll just speak out the questions if that's okay.
Definitely.
Yes, thank you. So, one we have is from Dr. Shardulin Benedict. What is the specific role of the consulate? Would you be able to help us with that?
Oh yes, definitely. I mean, the consulate is like our guide as regards to how to behave as a Indian officially. So the consulate is like a supporting entity. It is not that we have to take any funding from them, or expenses, or any kind of that, I would say, avail of sponsorships or anything. But consulate gives us a complete, I would say, channel to be able to promote an activity which is India related. So if we announce something like a program which would help Indian startups, either in collaboration with any Indian entity, may it be non-profit or commercial, the consulate would actually say, yes, we can promote if we find it appropriate. Then they promote it in a way in their networks, and which is very important, because they have a completely different access to, I would say, local government here than I would have, or anyone individual will have. That is one factor. The second factor is, if they themselves have an activity which can be complementary to the activity we are planning, then they would offer us a venue, which is usually the embassy or the consulate, where we can hold an event there which can be offered. So we have done we have done quite a few events at the consulate or the embassy, where the platform as an event location is offered by the consulate. The content is usually delivered by different companies or by different organizations, by educational like universities, etc. But the environment is at the consulate. So this is what I can tell you.
Thank you, Sanjay ji. Dr. Benedict, does that answer your question?
Yeah, that seems to be really good. I would also like to understand a little bit more in the sense, like if you have a startup or someone who came to Germany or he did his studies there and he started his program, like the startup program. Especially, I know this Unternehmertum where a few people are working on, and I'm also getting associated with that. So if such startups, wanted to come back to India, are there no like provisions where consulate could help, or no, is there any provisions like funding schemes? Especially, I think GIZ has made some provisions for that. So, is there something that your firm could make some possibility for that?
Yeah, this is an interesting question. I think the best would be that, of course, the consulate itself, I don't think they have any funding programs for such a channel. But what consulate would definitely offer you is a set of information which they have gathered by similar experiences. So if you are availing or you're trying to search for people who have had a similar experience and a path and have got their issue resolved, then the consulate is the right entity to ask for, because they have gathered such information through their channels. That is one thing. Where we can help is, of course, bringing you close to GIZ, which you already said. GTIZ, there is another program called Gmbh, which is directly connected to also Indo German business promotion. And of course, the private networks which we have. So, for example, if you have already have gathered some experience in Germany and are looking for a return part to India where you can join an organization or want to join a business or grow a business there, through our network of Longhouse as well as IF, we can get you connected to different people who can directly, tell you how they can help you. So I'll welcome email or communication later on, in case you feel free to contact me or Ashutosh, and we can share those contacts.
Even just to add one additional thing to it, so even in Unternehmertum, there are several parts of the Unternehmertum. So one of the program which you can really look into is called as Tech Founders, in which they give some amount of, let's say, as a residence funding, and this could be something which you can, also avail and could be used in order to build the technology initially, and then you can scale the technology anywhere in the world. This is, this should be okay for them. There are also, something like Workinds which we can use. So there are a lot of platforms which are, growing every day in specifically in Munich area and around Munich, in order to, support the startups and small companies. So yeah, there could be a lot of opportunities in that way.
Yeah, you'll be in connection later.
Yeah.
Thank you. So a follow-up question from YouTube is, if someone wants to form the joint venture with a German startup, how can they approach it? Approach this thing?
A joint venture is actually it is like getting married. Let me say that totally bluntly. It is like if you're looking for a partner which you are going to grow with, then it is like getting married. You be very careful usually and try to find a path which syncs together. So usually many companies are looking for joint venture to have a easy access to a market. That is one thing. And second thing is to have a funding. If you have an innovative product and the joint venture company has a market access, then you can have a joint venture. But to go into a joint venture, it is the best to have a market mapping to know which are the players. And again, we can help you there to make a market mapping for a joint venture which you are looking for. So depending on the industry and the product which you have developed, and depending on the region, which we of course also can recommend, depending on the product, you should go for a joint venture. What usually is done from our side is that we provide a long list of possible joint venture partners, and in discussion with specific case like a product or whatever your dimension you're looking for, we develop a short list together, and then after that, after the short list is shared, it comes to a commercial proposition where you have to select how someone is mandated to take this joint venture agreement forward, because until we close a joint venture agreement, there is no commercials involved. But as soon as there is a joint venture which is happening, and you are able to convince the joint venture partner with our help or without our help, that is the time where usually it comes to fruit. And this can be discussed again, but until then you have a good overview of the market as well as partners which you can joint venture with. I
And
hope
not
that
only
answers your
this,
question
so
actually. But
and not only this, you can also see it as like you can also become an OEM or ODMs for German big MNCs. So if there is a specific product requirement need, then there may be a you do not really need to get connected like a joint venture, but some MOUs in place where you can act as an OEM with where German MNCs will do let labeling and branding of their own, and you will probably provide them as a product. So this could be also something which you can look into, because there are a lot of companies which are doing something like this in terms of whether it is coming from a cloud, whether it is coming from IoT sensor network, whether it is coming from some agri-tech products which they can directly do and start taking in and start putting directly out there, and putting it into commercialization. So there could be a lot of opportunities specifically to become like an OEM and ODM. This is specifically what China has started with, and this is exactly what India can do in order to provide a very strong and robust product to German market or European market in general.
Thank you, Ashutosh ji. In fact, my sorry, not mine, but another question that came up was in this regard only. Is there any specific sectors that the startups should look at to reach out, or is it just because there are few incubators who are actually focusing on agri-tech startups right now?
agri-tech, of course, the water resources is one sector which is very useful. Food conservation is the second, and the third is of course food logistics. So these three sectors are coming up very rapidly, which are getting established. And the fourth one, which is I would say innovative, is getting potential herbs or spices from India and making innovative products for Europe. Like you have heard about haldi Kukuma, which is a very unique spice, which has been now globally used for not only for making latte kukuma or kukuma latte, to different kind of drinks which are available here, which are based on ginger and kukuma. So India can do a lot in this sector. I mean, the Germans are already taking this kind of technological ideas from, say, Ayurveda or whatever, and converting them into nice looking products and being offered here. So we can participate in a very big way in this sector.
And apart from this, we are basically also supporting, IoTs, and as well as, specifically in high-tech industry. So if you have also some defense products and let's say, any high-tech technology products, this is somewhere we can also, support you in order to scale it up. So as Sanjay said, like agri-tech, med-tech, health tech, these are the areas where we are really looking into.
Thanks, Ashutosh. Yes.
Thank you, sir. Another question again from YouTube platform is that should the startup bring any minimum capital from India to establish a startup in Germany?
I would say depending on what industry you are looking at, the minimum capital which you require is for establishing the company itself. That's it. That is basically the minimum need which you need. So if you are going to establish a private limited, then which will be called something like a GmbH here, that is what you need to bring along. So it will be 25,000 euros which you need for establishing a GmbH here. This is a minimum capital in case you want to establish your own entity here.
All right. Thank you, sir. One last question that we have from Mr. Amit Raju, who is also present with us here on this platform only. He wants to understand if there are some pain points of German Missland companies that you believe Indian startups can readily address.
Sorry, I didn't get the second part of the question.
So I'll just repeat the question again. What are
Yes.
some of the pain points of German Mittelstand companies that you believe Indian startups can readily address?
Yes. So Mittelstand, I think, is what Mr. Amit is trying to a reply on. Yes, German Mittelstand is the biggest powerhouse of Germany. So you'll find a lot of hidden champions which are in German Mittelstand. And usually the people who are working at the German Mittelstand, which can be called the middle scale sector as translated into India, but it is not the same as middle scale sector or what we can address in Germany, because the middle scale sector in Germany is a powerhouse. Why I said that? Because they are doing most of the innovation and are actually feeding the human resources as well as the industry. So their main pain point is to basically localize the product, say for India. So in case as an Indian entity, if you are trying to help such a Mittelstand, then first of all it is human resources, because it is not, it is scarcity of skilled labor. And the second thing is of course to resolve how to localize such a product which is there to India price wise. So India is a very price sensitive market as compared to Germany. So I would take a simple example. If you have the hidden sanitary pipes which are there usually behind the wall fittings, then you don't see that brand, even if it may be a global brand or a absolutely fantastic brand in that industry, doing well in Europe. If you want to bring that product to India, the brand is not known. Nevertheless, how do you bring the companies to use that product? So that is one thing which can be addressed in India in a unique way, which the Europeans cannot design themselves. It will have to be designed by the Indians for the Indian market.
So just to, add something to it. So what I've really seen is that, when you talk even to Indian Mittelstand, the fundings are actually coming from two, three directions. So one is basically the major MNCs which are putting funding in them. Second is basically they are getting a lot of European funding projects. And third is basically they are getting funding from government as well. So, but this funding is still is not really enough in order to like as Sanjay said, they don't have so much skilled labor, and the labor itself is very, very expensive in order to bring up entire product. That's why the cost of the products which are going to be built here is actually very, very high. This is actually one of the major pain points which could be solved by let's say Indian companies, in order to come up with a product which can become even a part of their bigger ecosystem, part of their big systems, or which can actually help them to drop down their cost and get the product in a faster time to market. So these are the major pain points which is there.
All right.
This
Thank you, sir. I do have another question. It's a little specific, but I'm just going to reframe it for the benefit of the audience. So, if a startup wants to enter Germany from India, are there any specific central or statewide programs that may support such entities, be it residential support or any other?
As far as I know, there are n number of programs. So, right from the local municipality, local government, up to the national level startup programs, everyone is offering kind of different residential programs for the company itself. So if you are looking for an incubation hub for a particular city, it is the best to select that area depending on your product. So if you're looking at agriculture product, you should head towards Freising, which is very close to Munich, or to Magdeburg, which is the previous East German location, because these two areas have a fantastic image. First of all, a good name for technological innovation in agriculture. If you had something for automobile sector, a product, then of course again Munich, Ingolstadt, and Stuttgart, where most of the major German automakers are located. So that way, and if you look at those cities, their technology hubs as well as the local incubation hubs have a lot of programs. So they will offer you a company residentship for 6 months, where you are offered an infrastructure to get hosted there. Try to develop your idea, get it partly funded in the beginning, and after 6 months to 2 years, the programs can go from 6 months to 2 years, where then you can actually use that infrastructure which is offered, and at a certain level you can grow out of that incubation hub to a proper company.
All right. All right, sir. Thank you so much. I think with that, I can close the question and answer session. There are no more questions there. Any closing remarks that you have?
Yeah, we would actually like to thank ourselves first of all, Ramanan sir and Ishita ji and who sir made it possible that this could be happened, and I hope we can continue with more specifics as to how we can help different startups and innovations coming from India as well as the other way around from Germany to India, and we are happy to be part of this Atal Innovation Mission. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. So I like to thank you again. Sorry for your time and effort, and for putting this in very engrossing and illuminating discussion today. I'm sure that all those who've attended the sessions today have some key takebacks and some learnings from today. So thank you so much for that. I'll also like to take this opportunity to thank our audience here and at YouTube for joining us. We greatly appreciate your active participation. Thank you, everybody. Stay safe.
Thank you so much.
Thank you all. Bye bye.